How big companies choose who to lay off, and why a discerning eye today is just as valuable as it was 2,000 years ago. Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. This channel's committed to information that expands a mind that desires preparedness. Reading this morning in the Wall Street Journal, and my barometer for truth, obviously we have to be really selective about what we choose to talk about. And this topic right here landed on me personally because it's happened to me personally, and I've sat in these meetings and it's uncomfortable. And many, I'd say tens of thousands of companies, maybe hundreds of thousands of companies, are talking about these same things right now as they prepare their companies. How big companies choose who is laid off. Soon after a company decides to cut its head count, the debate begins. Who should go? Oh my gosh. This is not about people as much as you think. It is about people because the human element or the human resource is so important in our companies today, in our small businesses, in our mid-sized businesses, in our large businesses. The human element is super important. This is economic war right now, and these businesses understand it is survival of the fittest. Just like for you and your family right now, if you're not opening your eyes and seeing what's coming, it's going to be yourself to blame. And I know some people, and I've been talking with some of you in the comments, I understand that the situations for everybody is different. It truly is. And I don't accept the fact that you may have little to no income. I accept a prepared mind that looks at what's in their hand right now and what they could do today. Maybe it's something out of your mouth. Maybe it's something that you're going to share with somebody that's going to help improve your preparedness. Maybe it's something you're going to do with your hands. Maybe there's projects around your home that you haven't finished and you've been putting them off for years. Get them done right now. Now's the time to prepare your home. And this is super serious because companies understand what's ahead of them. They're going to be having really hard conversations with staff members. These executives right now, they're meeting behind closed doors. They're working really hard and they're working different and they're exhausted differently right now. Here's what I mean. They have to keep a smile. Hey, how you doing, guys? Welcome in. You know, they have to do that, and they have to maintain a stoic leadership and strength, even though they know behind the scenes right now, they are talking about cutting significant percentages of their workforce. And that's a tricky conversation to have behind closed doors and try to keep everything balanced outside because it is going to be a slow cut. Boom, boom. And eventually it's going to get to a deep point. It could be potentially very catastrophic. We saw what's going on with First Republic Bank. We know that this is now turning into something super significant. And as we watch the outlying banks, we're going to see this stuff. There is no good way to do this, said Greg DeLab, a human resources executive with a large company. So ultimately, someone is always unfairly treated in layoffs. The process is playing out across the corporate sphere. So they're just talking about the fact that someone is always going to be unfairly treated, and these companies have to do it. And it's not personal for them. It is strictly economic. It has all to do with economics of how they operate that business so that they can resurge after this contracting. Seniority once guided layoffs at many U.S. businesses, with companies eliminating junior employees first. Today, pay attention, discerning ears, discerning eyes. Listen to this. Today, it is more common for companies to conduct layoffs based on skill rather than tenure. An employee's recent performance will likely factor heavy into the decision. Employees with high salaries. So if you're a senior leader in senior management and you make a lot of money right now and they don't know what you make, the people you're running, I know how this goes. And you know that they can potentially adapt without you, you should be hearing this. If you've got a high salary and it's kind of middle of the road, you don't really have as much responsibility as you should, get ready, because this one here says that you may face greater attention. More than someone beneath you. They're going to say, hey, we could keep 5 employees or 4 employees for the price of John. Though adversaries said that workers with the high income may be the top performer, so there's still going to be some balance. If you're in sales and you're a top performer, or if you're an executive right now, or you have a job that requires production of some sort, whether you're making parts of manufacturing or offering some service, become excellent right now. Don't wait until it gets bad to become excellent. Start being excellent now, because as your employers watch, if they have to walk through the same thing, they may choose you to stick around and let go of X amount of people that you work with now. Just know that. This is an important thing. They're talking about all of these current companies that have announced these layoffs, and Amazon in particular plans to cut 2,000 jobs primarily from finance and human resources while hiring in engineering. Amazon is going to be concentrating some of its cuts on cloud computing, advertising, and Twitch streaming, and Amazon is announcing additional cuts right now on top of the cuts that they have already announced. This is an economic war, and it is survival of the fittest, and these big companies are not beholden to their staff, and to their employees. They're beholden to their shareholders, and they have to make a decision to continue to grow these companies. Many think it is the job of human resource staffers to select the individuals and employees to terminate. Always goes to HR. It's so funny. The executive groups will hide behind what the rules are and why HR is so important. And HR is important, believe me. And at the end of the day, HR is not making the decisions. The executive team is making the decisions through HR. Just know that. And she was talking about that HR is not the controller over who is coming and going. So when you get a slip, contact HR. It's not coming from them. It's coming from above them. What HR does do, and this is really where it gets difficult, because when you're in times of war, you desire to have the best players, the best teammates, the ones you get along with, the ones that are producers, the ones that don't whine, the ones that don't show up late, that'll do their job, that'll have your back if you need help. These are the type of staff members and employees and sales professionals that are going to thrive during this. Yet if you think you're entitled or require emotional brain break day, this is going to be a liability for you, and you're going to have discerning eyes wake up. Once individual employees are identified, human resource staffers then scrub the list, looking to see if a company is, for example, disappropriately laying off people over the age of 40, that would be me, because they're higher, oftentimes they're further along in their career and they make more money than somebody coming in their 20s out of college, or they're unfairly targeting minorities. So if there's any of that business going on, HR will scrub that. Veterans or other groups. So when they say other groups, we know that this would be the LGBTQ plus, you understand? As such discrimination could open an employer to a lawsuit. Companies at times also rely on outside help for this process, buying tools or engaging lawyers to sift through layoff lists to identify possible red flags. So in this process of losing, there's also these political games going on. They have a company that's still very public and outbound, so they intend on ensuring they're not getting bad press with who they're laying off. So they're being strategic, and they're scrubbing lists, and they're retaining people that are not top performers. They're not top producers. They're not show up on time or early. Some of them are going to be complainers, yet because they're going to fit into some of these demographics of age, of race, of gender, or of orientation, veteran, non-veteran, maybe it's conservative, I'm not sure. Just know that these are coming and this wave is building. Luke chapter 12, verse 54. I was going to share a different verse connected to whom much is given, much is required, and we've been given a lot right now. Yet I opened up to find that verse, and the Holy Spirit landed with something so powerful. And it says, discern the time. And I thought it was beautiful, and this is Jesus, so I'm just going to read it to you. Then he also said to the multitudes, whenever you see the clouds rising out of the west, immediately you say, a shower is coming. And so it is. And when you see in the south a wind blowing, you say, there will be hot weather. And there is. Hypocrites. You can discern the face of the sky and of the earth. And how is it that you do not discern these times? Here, he's calling on them to allow their spiritual heart and their soul that is compelled towards something greater to open its spiritual eyes. Use your human eyes. Allow the filter that comes in through your human eyes to be filtered through your spirit. Open your ears, open your eyes, and discern the times. Don't just look at the weather and say, oh, there's clouds, it's going to rain. Or, gosh, there's a wind prevailing here, it's going to be hot. He calls us hypocrites. How can we do that and not this? I bless you guys today. I'm going to include this. If you've made it this far, the scarce items list is in the description this month. In our house, if you choose to join us, we're going to be increasing some of our preps as we move into the fall this year, which I think really encourage you. If you haven't ever planted a garden, now's the time to plant a garden or learn how to do it or buy some of the tools necessary or trade for them or do work for a neighbor that may have a rototiller and you could use it. Learn how to barter a little bit and stay away from fiat currency and see what you can produce with what you have in your hand right now. And sometimes labor, if you have mobility issues, maybe it's something you can do from home. Start looking for hustles right now. And my heart does break because I've talked to many of you and all of us are in different financial situations, life situations, time, age. We have all these things that pull on us. Me too. Me too. So just so you know, my heart is with you and I'm praying for you, those that are watching this, and I bless you that the Lord will open your eyes and you can see ways that you can increase your preparedness because what's coming is something that has to be discerned from your spirit. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.